9:07, 9.
Jake Hartford and John Casson for Bruce and Dan. Stepping on Jake again, John.
Yeah, yes, you are. I just want to remind people this is the first hour of the Bruce and Dan Show. Who are in for Don and Roma. You wish to send Don a get well wish, it's getwelldon@gmail.com. Or just go to the website, WLSAM.com, and do that.
Good idea. Or write a letter.
I wonder, since Don is off, I wonder if he's applying for unemployment.
It would be easier for him to collect unemployment if he were incarcerated, I guess.
Yeah, I'm just joking. Don wouldn't do that. But apparently 1,100 people have. They collected $2 million. A Ray Long story in the Chicago Tribune this morning. 1,100 people collected nearly $2 million in unemployment benefits while they were in county jails or state prisons, including $43,000 that went to one person in a Cook County jail.
And these aren't prison employees.
$43,000 for unemployment.
Sitting in jail eating bologna sandwiches on the taxpayer dime.
How do you get $43,000 in unemployment in one person? Isn't there a limit?
I get this
99 weeks. Was it at 99 weeks?
This is Illinois, man. This is where we spend all our money on people and then we raise taxes on the rest of us, on all the listening audience.
Well, what happens is when a company has to pay out unemployment, their rates go up because they pay like a rate deal on unemployment, and so that ends up costing the businesses more. The businesses pass that on to everybody else, but apparently now they're saying these people that did this may face state or federal criminal fraud charges, as well as having to repay what they shouldn't have taken.
Ray Long at the Tribune, my colleague, I've known him for years. We covered City Hall together. He comes up with these stories all the time, and this thing is just astounding. I mean, I'm in prison. Give me money.
In Cook County, there were 296 inmates tied to $722,000 in payments they shouldn't have gotten. Will County, 21 inmates collected $85,000. Lake County, there was another 20 inmates there with $84,000. It says the number of inmates in state prisons was unavailable, but expected to be a little larger because of the time it takes an inmate to get into prison.
That's because the benefits last 26 weeks.
Yeah.
When economic times are good, but now it's 99 weeks, so you plead guilty. Oh, plead guilty, go into prison, and start collecting your check. Thank you, taxpayers.
See, the problem is it doesn't happen as much in state prison because they're getting their 99 weeks while they're still waiting to get transferred over to state prison.
Oh, because they're in the Cook County jail. Right?
Or the different jails,
right,
yeah.
Right.
It says the 3-month study mostly found inmates collecting benefits from 2012, but there were some that were linked to 2011.
How many prison tacos can you make with your unemployment check? Remember a while back, I don't know, a long time ago, we had one of the guys behind the booth make us some prison tacos, off that recipe that they all use. You could really kind of set yourself up in a business in prison. On the taxpayer's dime.
Now, how does that work? You're supposed to, in order to keep your money, you have to, I guess every couple weeks you have to check in with the state.
Correct.
And you have to tell them, number one, if you were looking for a job or not. Number two, did you do any part-time work where, you wouldn't get your full benefits? And number three, you're all supposed to have a list of the places you went and sought employment.
And some sort of copy, right? Or is it just you can make it up?
You have to have it available if they ask for it. Apparently they don't ask for it.
This is one of the reasons why the state's bankrupt. Because they just throw your money into the toilet, okay? And then in a few weeks after the election, you're going to see a new push for an extended tax increase. In the lame duck session. So this is how it works. Let's give a lot of people a lot of money that's not ours, and they'll vote for us. How many of these people vote? Can you vote if you're in prison? I guess not now.
You can unless you're convicted.
Right. But if you're in jail?
Yeah, you can, sure. If you're just waiting trial. But that's different. If you're awaiting trial, you're not convicted, okay, you can still vote. But
should you still collect your unemployment?
No, you shouldn't because you can't, because you're in jail, and in order to go do a job, you have to leave jail to do the job. So therefore, you're not available to do a job.
Jake, how heartless can you be?
I'm very heartless.
Jake, that's terrible. What if you were accused of stealing a loaf? If your name is Jean Valjean, okay, just pick a guy. And
Why is it always the French, John?
because he stole a loaf of bread.
Okay.
All right, you steal a loaf of bread to feed your family, and
Did the
you're
French,
waiting.
By the way, did the French call their bread French bread, or is it just bread in France?
Baguette.
I mean, you know, I'm asking.
They
If you
don't
go to
call
the
it French bread.
Well, here you do. You go to the store and say, "Go get me a loaf of French bread."
And it's not even French bread. It's like soft sponge.
Well, but okay, never mind. I'm
Let
sorry
them
I
eat,
asked you.
Which is what the origin of let them eat cake. It wasn't really cake. It was white bread.
John, we're not here to learn anything. We're here to cause trouble.
The
Okay.
thing that bothers me is they're taking my taxes and giving it to prisoners.
Well, technically, they're taking the money from businesses that have to pay the unemployment insurance. That's what they're taking.
All right, so
But because their rates go up,
Yeah,
but they
there's
are,
a
but they
minor
but they
detail.
are also taking your taxes because you're getting the federal dollars that came in. Remember all those deadlines we had to get it because we have to make sure the prisoners get their unemployment. You know, the next good story. How many of them are getting food stamps?
to make the prison tacos, the
Well,
prison
look,
tamales.
If they can apply for unemployment while
Right,
they're in jail,
exactly.
why can't they apply for food stamps?
And in food stamps, or the link card as we call it now,
Yeah.
there's no picture on that, is there?
No.
So I could be in prison for armed robbery and give it to my friend, and he could use it and buy up all the tenderloins and lobster tails he wants while I'm getting my unemployment check. Nice.
You know, what else could you get? I wonder if they get a cell phone. Could they get a cell phone?
Obama phone?
Obama phone? Did they get one of those?
You
I
know,
imagine they could.
There used to be a scam in the Cook County jail where there's always a connected guy who has the payphone concession, and that costs a lot more money to they charge a lot more for that. And people were calling out, and I don't remember exactly. Somebody might remember the county.
Well, to check in for unemployment, they would have to call by phone. So therefore, whatever unemployment they were getting, it wasn't all gravy because they probably had to pay for the phone more than a normal call, right?
Maybe they could deduct from the unemployment check.
We'll take your calls, 591-8900. Should you have to go to county jail to get your unemployment? That is the question. 9:15, time for traffic right now on 89 WLS. 9:16, we're talking about the inmates in the jails getting the unemployment. And I just saw this breaking story that just passed. Danny DeVito and Rail Perman are separating after 30 years of marriage. I don't know if I can finish the show, John.
I'm going to, I need a pill. I need a pill because the idea of Rhea Perlman out in the market again, wow, hitting the singles bars. Can you imagine that?
I don't know.
Can you imagine that, or do you need 6 pills?
Let's try to carry on. Art in Bridgeview. Good morning, Art. You're on 89 WLS.
Hey, good morning, guys. Hey, listen, I know 2 people that are unemployed right now, and you don't talk to anybody. You do everything over the computer, and you have to put down a place of employment that you search for each day because they, I guess, periodically check your name to see if you're doing it. So I don't know if these guys are able to. I don't know where they're saying they're, willfully looking for employment in order to collect these checks.
Wait, so when they check in via the phone, they don't talk to any...
No, it's all done on a computer.
Well, how do they put the places in where they worked?
You got to type it in that you said you look for work or whatever.
And then what? The guy the computer calls the work or what?
No. They I guess unemployment checks up every so often on your name, under your name, to make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
You know what you're suggesting, Marty? If we were talking about this in a meeting at work at the Trib, somebody would say, "You mean there could be somebody involved with the computers who might be part of this deal?" What do you think?
I don't know. But, they could say they applied at the prison for a job, right?
Thanks, Art. See, I just can't see the state checking up on, how many people are out of work?
And they're going to 23 million in the country.
They're going to start calling XYZ company. Oh, did Joe Jones apply for a job? You think anybody at Joe Jones, that company, is going to be able to find a Joe Jones or even make the attempt?
Why would they call? Because the more people on unemployment, the more power the bureaucrats have. Less people, less power.
That's called why kill the job.
Right.
Jeff on 290. Good morning, Jeff.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Hey, Jeff.
Hey, you guys are trying to make this too complicated. they got a girlfriend or a boyfriend or whatever on the outside, they
Yeah.
make their phone call use their Social Security number.
Oh, so they don't even have to work to get their unemployment. They can have somebody else do it.
Yeah, yeah.
I like that thinking, Jeff.
So then the girlfriend or boyfriend goes around and applies for a job?
No.
No,
they do.
John's living in the fantasy world.
That's why I think where everyone is honest. That's my life, man. I deal with honest people.
You live in Cook County?
What are you saying, Jeff?
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, you wouldn't have a column if everything was honest, John. You know that. Come on.
I believe in the goodness of man.
Margaret, good morning, Margaret. You're on 89 WLS.
Hello. Yes, I'm 45 years old, and I was working in a restaurant, and I got laid off in December, and I tried to find a job, and I couldn't, but I got a letter from Obama saying that if I went back to school, I could still collect unemployment benefits. So I did what I was supposed to do, and that they said it was okay, and I registered for school, and then they said, oh, you should have taken night classes or gone to school online because you're not available to go to school from 10 to 2 every day. And they cut me off completely.
Was it a form letter?
Yes.
So, in other words, the president told you to go to school so you can get your unemployment, and when you did, you lost your unemployment.
Exactly. And I'm a single mom, and so now my parents, so luckily I have a really great family, and they're helping me out. But, I was already registered, got my student loan, and then they said, oh, no, you should have taken the night classes. And I said, well, I came to the office and told you what I was doing. Oh, well, you talked to the wrong person, so sorry, you just cut off the...
It's always the wrong person, isn't it, John?
In the bureaucracy?
Yeah, it's always the wrong person.
Yeah, and it's how long did it take you to get through the first time, Margaret? Probably about 6 hours on the phone?
Oh, no, I went there in person. I went day after day and sat there for 3 hours, and then finally when I talked to somebody, and then they said, oh, well, you just took classes at the wrong time.
So this is George Bush. It's Romney's fault, right? Or Big Bird's fault, right?
So, Margaret, the last question is, next time you get a letter from the president telling you to do something, what are you going to do?
Not do it. Although I'm glad I'm in school, though.
All right, thank you, Margaret. Good luck.
Stay in school, Margaret.
Yeah.
I think you've got the wrong attitude. I think that people, if you're in prison, don't you deserve that money more than the guy who's working? In a way, because you're down on your luck, you're depressed.
You're trying to build a nest egg so when you get out, you've got money.
So you have capital to invest. Start your own business, and then Obama can say you didn't build that.
921, back after this on 89 WLS.
89 WLS.
Biden, Ryan, square off in the vice presidential debate this Thursday night at 8. And WLS is carrying it live on Debate Central. This is your common sense election headquarters. 89 WLS.
928, John Cass and Jake Hartford talking about unemployment.
And we're going to take another call.
Yeah, $2 million going to people in jail. Rick in Downers Grove. Good morning, Rick.
Hey, how you guys doing? Yeah, just 2 quick points. Being that you're in prison, that's your new address, do they send the checks to the prison? And if so, doesn't it dawn on one of these overpaid, underworked state employees think that something might be wrong? And number 2, hey, John, soccer sucks.
Okay, Rick, I think this is the call of the day so far. Now,
Rick, you're totally wrong. But outside of that, dude, I hope that they get the check sent right to their prison commissary
they
account.
won't. No, well, they won't get the check. I'm sure they're using their home address, and that's where all the mail goes. And they have a Confederate, an accomplice, so to speak, allegedly.
And she gets on the Obama phone.
You're assuming it's a she. It could be anybody.
I'm assuming that most prisoners are men, yeah. But you're right. It could be anybody, and whoever they are, they get on the Obama phone and call up and say, hey,
could be.
We got the money.
Could be the mother, could be the father, could be whatever. We know it's not Big Bird. The Big Bird controversy continues. Big Bird wants out, and every time he's out, they just drag him right back in again. We're going to talk about that and
Tony Montana.
Yeah, and a whole lot more as we continue right here on 89 WS. It's 9:30 right now. Time for Dave Stewart with news, weather, traffic.